Steven, how close do you think we were from having the worst 4th of July since 1775 yesterday?
That would be the worst 4th of July since 1775, huh?
If you're going to cancel the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, yeah, I think that calls for that that characterization of how bad the holiday would have been.
You know, to get personal here,
Let's get personal.
actually not like personal regarding you, personal regarding myself.
Oh, okay.
uh
Just your opinion, man. Steven Langford, Derek Papa.
whatever. So July 4th, I want to say it was 2005 and 2006, 2004 through 2006. I would throw up on every July 4th for 3 consecutive years.
Pray tell why.
I don't know. I would
Did you have
just
your own hot dog eating contest?
No. It was when Kobayashi was doing his thing.
Yeah, you would just gag?
It was I don't think it was because of that though. It was just during Kobayashi's reign. That's how you know it's the time between, the mid 2000s. It wasn't because of the hot dog eating contest. It would happen at night.
Were you how old were you then?
It was like 11.
You old enough? Were you sneaking beers and
No. Can't figure it out. So, you know what? If there wasn't a hot dog eating contest, would have been a crappy July 4th, but not the worst ones I've ever experienced because 2004 to 2006, God, brutal Independence Days.
Yeah, about to say that's weird that you would have that every year. You sound like there was a thing on Seinfeld where Jerry would say like it's exactly 4 years where I actually threw up. I remember the date. I remember the year. That's my Seinfeld.
Very good. And
Thank
I see you're wearing a Seinfeld shirt.
I am actually. That was unintentional. Yes, the jerk
Yeah.
store called it "Running Out of You." One of my favorite shirts. Welcome everybody. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July. Steven, did you have a good 4th of July yesterday? I hope you didn't puke.
Had a great 4th of July. Did not puke. I ended up going to the family's for a barbecue and then came home and played Harry Potter for the rest of the day, then fell asleep before the sun went down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a very fun-filled day.
Yep.
I went over to my little brother's house and we had a little barbecue. But the day would have been ruined if there was no Nathan's hot dog eating contest. So we wake up, as everybody does on 4th of July, to watch this event. And if you live on the West Coast, you have to wake up pretty early. It happens around 9 o'clock. That's when they have the women's competition, and then we get to the men's competition with Joey Chestnut. And Joey Chestnut has been going for, well, how long? I mean, he lost 1 year to Matt.
15 years.
Yes, but he did lose 1 year to Matt Megastone Stoney, right?
Stoney. Yeah.
Yeah. Is his name Matt Stone, the same guy that created South Park?
Matt Stoney.
Oh, just Matt Stoney. Okay.
I think so, yeah. He's got like
He's
a
from-
YouTube channel now.
He's from San Jose too. And so he lost 1 year, but yesterday he was going for his 16th mustard belt. And the day started off with me tuning in and seeing ESPY nominations special, which I was like, I don't care about this. What the hell's going on here? And then you see in the corner a little notification that there is a lightning delay for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Now, I know that they want this to be a fun event in the sun, summertime, Coney Island. People, want to be under the sun and want to, watch the hot dogs, drink beers, and they delayed it because of lightning. And I saw a video, I think Ben Stiller earlier in the day was saying like this is an East Coast summer, and there was pitch black, clouds, lightning, so I could understand why they wanted to prolong the event for a little bit. But also, I remember this being an event held indoors during COVID 3 years ago, where they had partitions between each eater. Couldn't they have just got up and gone in the Nathan's actual, brick and mortar and done the event? Now I know, God forbid, George Shea wouldn't have had the crowd. It wouldn't have been able to have the megaphone and do his whole spectacle of, "Are you ready to sip from the volcano? Are you ready to?"
They can't just
Right.
think on the fly though and just move everything completely just because of lightning.
Well, I would have suggested that if what happened next actually happened. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. I'm watching the stupid SB show.
Wow. You are really waiting for this thing. You legit watch this every year.
Oh God, yeah, dude.
Oh.
I am dedicated to this thing. This is a Papa tradition. So I'm waiting for it, and then I see a bogus report from ABC7 in New York and Bleacher Report saying that the event was canceled. And I was like, you got to be shitting me. They didn't plan this at all with the weather? So then I got dressed, went to the gym angrily. I was like, God, they can't believe they're not going to have this event. And then you texted me saying it's happening. And you best believe whatever podcast or music I was listening to, I turned that shit off. And I was working out to the sounds of George Shea and the updates of the hot dog competition. And once again, Joey Chestnut did not disappoint. He had that tweet that that reporter had where he told the other eaters, we're going to get outside and we're going to do this motherfucker. And then it happened. And this man, this American legend, gave us all a fantastic 4th of July. Did not disappoint. Even though I would say 62 hot dogs, one less than last year, one could argue Joey Chestnut's slipping a little bit. I know 62 hot dogs is amazing, but for his stature and what he's accomplished, you can say he's slipping a little bit.
He takes himself too seriously. I'll say it.
Well, with the jaw, we saw in the documentary, the jaw exercises.
Just all of it. I mean, competitive eating is a sport. I do think so.
You and I debated this last year, and I went the other way.
Well, then why are you obsessed with it then?
Because it's funny to me. It's like comedians being into like reality shows just for the hell of it, for for good material.
Okay.
Listen, I respect Joey Chestnut because I would love to do this type of thing too, but it's amazing to me that every year he's able to do this. And as I get older and I tell you about my problems with eating spicy food, my immediate reaction every year is, God, how long does he have to shit for?
Yeah.
And you hear about all this other stuff, like he's eating so many hot dogs and so many ice cream pints of ice cream and donuts and all this stuff. After a while, it's just like there comes the day where Joey Chestnut might just spontaneously combust or shit his pants on stage because you get older. Like he's going to be 40 next year. He's 39 now.
Jeez.
Eventually, time's going to run up against him.
Father Time is going to catch up to Joey Chestnut?
To all great athletes, it comes to an end, Stephen. And I think to even Joey Chestnut, his metabolism and his lower intestine will eventually catch up with him.
So his Wikipedia page is full of world records that he set, right? Or that he's held at one point. And some of them are straight nasty, but it also took away from the hot dogs for me. Like, to me, where's the one that always gets me whenever I say the gyoza one?
Yeah.
Pot stickers. 384 of them in 10 minutes in 2014.
Well, you could just pop those in your mouth.
Yeah, but still. And also, where's the other one before I get to my next point?
The hard-boiled eggs?
No. Oh, God, the hard-boiled eggs one is
He
gross.
ate 148 hard-boiled eggs in 8 minutes or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the one that got 39 and a half bowls of red beans and rice in 8 minutes.
Wait, how many bowls?
39 and a half. So that's 24 pounds of beans and rice in 8 minutes at the New Orleans for the Blue Runner Red Beans and Rice Major League Eating Contest. Like, it's gross, but
it's fun.
Here's the other thing, though. I'm tired of it being the hot dog. If it's going to be a real hot dog eating contest, how about you eat like an actual hot dog? A hot dog is the combination of the dog and the bun. You can't just eat them separately. It's like, this is just the singular sausage and bun competition.
Don't try to find some hot take debate way to nitpick this thing.
No.
It's fine the way it is.
No, it is not.
He's been doing this shit for years. Kobayashi did the same thing where they separate the hot dog with the bun.
They always have. They always have. Change it. Give someone else a chance.
Well, here's my change that I want.
Uh-huh.
So in the tweet that was sent out when Joey Chestnut had his Jordan-like moment where he was like, "We're gonna do this motherfucker."
Yeah.
The quote is, "I'm gonna get everybody else, so we're gonna do this motherfucker." At this point, and I know that he lost 1 year to Matt Stoney, but who is challenging Joey Chestnut at this point?
Nobody. And that's why I'm saying change it. Because
No,
this is not sports, like actual sports. We could change the rules of this thing. Look, here we go. Wikipedia, even more. A food consisting of a grilled or steamed sausage served in the slit of a partially sliced
easy
bun.
there, easy there. But it doesn't say you have to consume it that way.
Then yes, it does.
Okay,
Or
if
else
they
it's
had
just
if they had a pizza eating competition, which I'm sure they have, is there any rule to you got to fold it New York style, or you got to eat like can you roll it up like a fucking taco and eat it like that, or
I'm sure you're not allowed to take off the cheese and eat the cheese on its own and then eat the
that's
dough
different.
separately.
That's different.
The same thing.
No, it's not. That's
Yes,
so
it is. You're
stupid.
taking the essence of the hot dog out of the actual
Essence
hot
of
dog.
hot dogs.
You're taking the dog out of the hot dog.
Here's my suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that tweet where he says, "I'm getting everybody else." At this point, listen, George Shea pretty much admitted it in that documentary where he was like, "Yeah, Kobayashi's cool, but Joey Chestnut is a true American hero, which Kobayashi could never be." Which that always rubs me the wrong way now after hearing that. When I watched the thing, and I was like, "This motherfucker loves himself some George Shea,
Yeah.
and he loves Joey Chestnut, and he's always gonna do the Joey Chestnut, and he'll be the face of the thing. They never want this guy to lose. Like the
Yeah.
1 year that he did lose, I'm sure George Shea was like, "We can't have this. This is
Yeah.
the only sport, like like everybody loves the fit. Like there's a face of baseball. Probably Kobayashi. Or no, not Kobayashi. Apologies. Shohei Ohtani. In the face of football, it's debatable right now. Probably Mahomes. The face of basketball, that's debatable. Whether it's Nikola Jokic now or whatever. It depends on like all those people. They're always like no one wants them to win every year. There's always competition that gets in their way.
Yeah.
Major League Eating has set it up to just have Joey Chestnut win every single goddamn year. So at this point, why not just have him a timer, 10 minutes, in every year he has to exceed what he did the previous year. So if we're judging by what he did last year, he had 63 hot dogs and he got to 62, then it's a big you're a loser, Joey Chestnut. Go home. You didn't get 63 or get to 64. That should be the competition is every year does he get better? Does he eat more hot dogs?
So that's it, just based all around Joey Chestnut.
Well, I mean that's what they do to the first place. At this point, aren't we all just watching him and seeing if he like yesterday I saw people like Fortenbaugh was like he's going to hit 80. You see that look in his eyes?
Yeah.
It was incredible. I think he hit 76 the 1 year he lost. So this guy is like the Michael Jordan, the Tom Brady of Major League Eating, where he is extremely competitive, but no one's going to touch him. There has to be someone that comes close, hopefully, in years to come. But at this point, couldn't he just time himself and see if he can reach possibly 100 hot dogs, get to 80, get to a certain point that exceeds from last year?
That's hard to do though. That's you're just trying to put like and he did he had a record 76 in 2021.
That was 2021, so that was well after when he lost to Matt Stoney. Because I remember when Matt Stoney won, I think that was like 2015.
Huge deal.
Oh, it was a massive upset. Massive upset.
Massive upset.
Massive.
Yeah, huge massive upset. I don't know, man. You know what though? Better than watching the ESPY nominations.
Yes, damn right. And yes, it was. we went from God, this is going to be terrible, to having a hot dog resurrection of JC, Joey Chestnut.
Can we just? I'm gonna just post it real quick. The photo is just objectively funny. The one that was posted of him telling everyone we're putting this back on. Like that is just
this motherfucker's happening. Like, yeah, look at him.
It's so funny. It's like that's what I mean. He takes himself way too seriously, man. It's like you eat hot dogs. It's like I'm not
But that,
great.
but that's his thing, baby.
I know, but like have a little sense of humor about yourself. But I
Oh,
guess
I mean,
what?
I'm sure he. I mean, like, you know. Well, but this is a Super Bowl, and even though
Yeah,
it's a one-man Super Bowl, because there's no competition,
right.
this is what he lives for. And then he said he
Yeah.
went on to have a liquid diet the rest of the day, which
Appropriate.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. You got to make everything slide out.
It's some form of fat. He drinks like a lot of coffee afterwards,
Oh
just to make it
God.
all wash down.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he just pounds Trulies after he's done with the hot dog.
Look, we got a lot. We got a lot of Trulies, man. I was thirsty.
I can't get on board with the Trulies. I just can't have vodka in a can.
It's not vodka in a can. It's a seltzer. It doesn't taste like anything.
Not a fan. Not a
All
fan.
right.
So how much longer do you think he could do this? Because he's, like I said, he's going to turn 40 next year. Adam Richman, who I'm a big fan of Man vs. Food, he did like a similar thing where he would have these food competitions. He'd go across the country and go from place to place and try to hit these food competitions. And then eventually, I mean, it was a great show. I loved it. I liked it better with him as opposed to whatever Swedish guy they have doing it now with the mustache. But at a certain point, his doctor told him, "You're going to die if you keep doing the show." So he had to quit the show. So at what point like the same thing with Sean Evans when he does Hot Ones. At a certain point, a doctor's going to tell you you can't eat spicy food all the time like this. You can't eat 70 hot dogs year in and year out. At what point does a doctor say, "Joey, enough's enough. You got to retire. You're going to die"?
It's got to happen soon. There's only so much food this guy can actually consume, but he hasn't really set many world records as of late. I mean, earlier in the between 2010 and 2020, like it was gross how many different competitions he would actually win. Now he's like setting records in maybe one or two. So you know what? I give it till he's 45. 45 is when I give it.
So he'll retire the same age as Tom Brady.
Yes. And I like how George Shea does not mention anyone in sports when comparing Joey Chestnut to whoever. He mentions somehow he puts the Egyptians who built the pyramids and brings them into it. Whoever formed the earth, like the Big Bang Theory and Joey Chestnut, the two most important things to planet Earth.
That's why I appreciate George Shea. Even though he comes across douchey in interviews, especially in that 30 for 30.
Yeah.
That's part of the comical charm of it, is not taking it too seriously. Like the whole sip from the volcano, ride the tornado, make love to the dragon spiel he does every year. I really miss the raps he used to do with Badlands. You remember those?
No.
Gonna eat with Badlands, compete with Badlands. It was the big guy that would rap before he would jump on the stage.
I remember that guy. Yeah. I remember that guy.
Yeah. No, I'm glad it went down. Yeah, it's a fun thing. Like, is it grotesque? Absolutely. I understand why people don't want to watch it. It's a little much. At the same time, while we had this delay, this was the perfect opportunity for Kobayashi to do his own thing. Go live on Twitter or YouTube or TikTok, whatever, and do his own food competition and garner all the attention that goes to the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, go viral, and get back at him for ostracizing you for whatever happened 10 years ago from that hot dog eating competition.
I'm sure Kobayashi has moved on, though. No need for Kobayashi.
I hope he has,
he's
because
good.
watching God, people make fun of this sport, but that documentary is 100% serious about the rivalry between the two guys, Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi, and
Right.
the heartache that went into Kobayashi being ostracized from the major league eating community.
Yep. Sad. Just a depressing story, really. But yeah, I guess it's kind of the same thing as like watching a wrestling documentary. Even though wrestling's totally fake and scripted and all that, they still put their bodies through this physical toll that we won't even be able to understand. And these eaters do the same thing. So as much as I have been making fun of Joey Chestnut, saying that he shouldn't take himself too seriously, I do respect how much he puts into the craft. It's just the walk, the look, Just his fierce look before each competition as George Shea is making the announcement, the fist pump, the walk through the tunnel to the stand. It's too much.
Well, what do you want him to do? You want him to be more goofy?
Yes.
I don't think he has that personality.
No.
I think that he just likes to eat.
Yeah.
And he's serious about it.
Could absolutely be true.
I do remember we had him on, God, maybe 6 years ago. Dibbs was co-hosted with my pops.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but like I asked Dibbs, like the movie Sausage Party was coming out, and I was like, "Hey, Dibbs, you should ask Joey if he's seen the movie Sausage Party." And of course, Dibbs goes, "Hey, Joey, you see the movie Sausage Party? It's coming out." He goes, "What the hell is that?" It's like the movie where the hot dogs come to life. Oh yeah. No, I haven't. Almost like it was like disrespectful. Like I take my craft seriously with eating hot dogs. I don't need to see a movie about talking hot dogs.
Yeah, well, that's a risky question, I guess, to ask, but he should see that movie. It's hilarious.
It's a great movie.
Fantastic.
So I always am entertained by George Shea, even though, like I said, he's a little too full of himself. His brother, Richard Shea, he is the analyst every year for the hot dog eating competition. And this year, John Anderson, who's on ESPN quite a bit and is kind of comical, Richard Shea's more comical. John Anderson does Sports Center and all that stuff.
Yep.
But Richard Shea, he's funny. He famously dropped the line that I always loved years ago, where he said, "You can't argue with science." When some guy was like, "Yeah, Joe Chestnut's gonna eat 70 today," he has great lines. Like yesterday, I heard him say, "This stuff is." You can't understand it. You can't explain how Joey Chestnut does this stuff. It's like quantum physics or the appeal of Pete Davidson. It's just like good one-liners like that. But then he kind of got caught up a little bit in the moment and forgot that when comparing Joey Chestnut to a legend, he forgot that this said legend has recently died.
16. It's unbelievable. Makes Bill Russell look.
Yeah, puts Bill Russell, the late, great Bill Russell, in terms of rings. Yep, pedestrian indeed. Although Bill Russell, an all-time great. We're back with more. We want to hear from.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, like.
You can hear him just sink.
Yeah, he knew right when he said it. He was like, oof. And
16. It's unbelievable. Makes Bill Russell look.
Yeah, puts Bill Russell, the late, great Bill Russell, in terms of.
Yeah. Like, not only is it a little too soon because Bill Russell did die a year ago, Bill Russell also dealt with a lot during his time in the NBA. So to compare him to Joey Chestnut was a little much. And John Anderson saved him comedically with the pedestrian thing. But yeah, like it's basically saying like Tom had the joke today. It's like, did he run out of like did he not want to compare him to Jackie Robinson? Like it's like oof, like dude.
Yeah.
Like I understand what you were trying to do there, but as soon as you said it, you fucked up.
Yeah, try not to maybe compare it to sports legends who broke racial barriers in their respective sports. Maybe keep off of that one, and then I don't know, say something like Bartolo Colon.
Yes.
I don't know. Something was funny.
He was really trying to go for the home run joke and fell on his ass right when he was delivering.
Oh man. Does Mike go silent? Nope.
Nope. He just knew what he was saying. And he was going to say pedestrian, and John Anderson saved him and also acknowledged Bill Russell is also,
an all-time legend.
Playing basketball and breaking down barriers and not stuffing hot dogs in his face.
Yeah, it's a little different.
I'd say so.
But hey, at least Joey Chestnut got on Man vs. Food.
What's that?
At least Joey Chestnut got on Man vs. Food once.
Did he recently? Or
not recently?
An old episode?
It was a little while back. He was at an Iguanas in San Jose, which is known for their Godzilla burrito. And so he ate that, and I forgot how quickly, but it was really quick. And that thing is huge.
So he put Adam Richman into shreds.
He did. He totally did. Yeah.
Yeah, because Adam Richman was just like kind of a comedian who loved to just do food competitions, which that I appreciate more, even though the show was cheesy at times.
Yeah.
Literally. he knew that he was just stuffing his face with food, and he didn't take it too seriously.
Went to Juilliard.
Did he?
Yeah.
Adam Richman?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I want to see he has a new show.
I haven't seen anything with Adam Richman in a long time.
I know. I'm going to visit my mom next week, so that will be when I start watching a lot of cooking shows. So it'll be a lot of Chopped.
Oh, hell yeah.
It'll be a lot of guys. What's Guy Fieri's show? He's got multiple ones.
Well,
but the
which
where
one? You talking about Triple D or Triple G? What?
Drivers, dive-ins, and dives. Or
Diners,
dives.
drive-ins, and dives. Yep.
And then there's guys' grocery games.
Yeah.
You have it down.
Of course.
Both. I mean, basically, guys' grocery games is what's that show? The supermarket store, supermarket sweeps, whatever the fuck
Right.
it was called.
Right.
Basically that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be watching a lot of cooking shows with my mom, and I will investigate this new Adam Richman show if it's on.
Hell yeah.
There we go. Steven, should we take a look at what Draymond Green finally said about Chris Paul joining the Warriors?
Yeah. Why not?
So this is on Paul George's podcast. And we played last time what Draymond Green said about Chris Paul. He says he doesn't care for Chris Paul, and it was more of a way to divide Steph Curry from Chris Paul. But he likes the move, and he thinks it's going to help a certain Warrior on the team.
Since the trade happened, what do you think he brings to an already stacked and successful team?
Well, I think he brings a couple things. After the Lakers series, Steph said in his press conference, we ran out of variety. If they're taking this away, then you can go to this. If they're taking that away, then you can move to this. Our team last year didn't have a variety of ways that we could score. And I think CP adds another thing to the menu. But I'll tell you one more thing that I think it unlocks, and I actually look forward to learning this from him. I think Chris Paul will completely unlock Jonathan Kuminga and his growth. CP is great with young guys. DeAndre Ayton looked like a bust before CP came to Phoenix. No disrespect to Ayton, but more so a nod to CP.
Yeah.
What he will do for Jonathan Kuminga and unlocking Kuminga is huge.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think
but-
what that tells you, though, is they have the mindset that he's going to be a backup because they cut out a lot in that clip. It's like overall, it's like 2 minutes long. And he basically says like also that, well, me and Steph were on the floor. We were on the floor for way fewer minutes than we should have been because I had to go to the bench and help some of those guys out. And I don't know how to do that. So Chris Paul's going to be able to do that. That's really what I took away from it. Can he unlock Jonathan Kuminga? Maybe, because what he said, he didn't really give many details on what he would do. But I guess we got to trust Draymond's IQ with that one and just speak to his word, because you hear that all the time. You hear that, like I've heard that all the time on the radio with any callers. They think this and something will have this positive impact on X player will have a positive impact on Y. Like that's what, free agent talk, rookie talk, whatever it is about new acquisitions. That's what it sounded like to me. That's like, yeah, this is what you hope. This is what you hope he's going to do with Kuminga in his third year, because no one else has seemed to be able to do it on the Warriors, at least when everyone's healthy. So maybe I guess we just got to take Draymond's word for it.
I don't doubt that Chris Paul will help with the second unit, and that will help with Jonathan Kuminga. I think this pretty much solidifies that Jonathan Kuminga will be a part of the team going forward, which is kind of surprising to me because all the indications were, and again, this is, them downplaying it with, talking up Jordan Poole and kind of questioning whether or not Kuminga was going to be part of the team going forward.
Right.
I guess this solidifies that Jonathan Kuminga will be part of the team, which begs the question: did Steph and Dre say we've reached our limit with Jordan Poole at this point? Jonathan Kuminga is the guy that we see potential in. We just don't know how to use him, and Chris Paul could be the guy to help him with that. I don't really know. You wonder why Jonathan Kuminga hasn't been unlocked already. But when you have a veteran like Chris Paul, like it may just be that Jordan Poole is not a savvy vet, and they needed somebody like a Sean Livingston, like a Chris Paul, that can come in with a second unit and can teach him a little bit of where to go, where to be, how he'll set him up at pick and rolls and stuff like that. So I believe Draymond, and I believe that this is, all indications are, I know what Mark Spears has said, this is going to be Chris Paul coming off the bench and dishing it out to Jonathan Kuminga, which could be beneficial. But I also wonder, why is this going to be the one thing that's going to unlock Jonathan Kuminga?
Right. Well, because you finally have a guy who's a floor general going from the bench. Like, you haven't really had that since, I mean, really, like, we're talking floor general here. I mean, what'd you have from 2017 to 2019? I guess it was more so like Kevin Durant, or I don't when Kevin Durant, during the Kevin Durant years. I mean, who was it off the bench? Who was the primary guy? Who was the sixth man at the time? It was Andre.
Bell?
You had Andre.
Oh, yeah, Andre, yeah.
You had Andre out there. You had a floor general. And before that, you had guys who Draymond mentioned that he learned from. You had guys like Jarrett Jack and Carl Landry anchoring the bench. So I think this is going to be the first time that they've really had that savvy vet since Iguodala, when Iguodala was actually playing at a decent level.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it will be beneficial, and I think that it will be just a matter of, is Jonathan Kuminga going to show that he's mature enough for the moment?
Right.
Just getting Chris Paul doesn't mean that means that Steve Kerr is going to have the ultimate faith in Jonathan Kuminga going forward. It's a big deal when Steve Kerr did not want to play him, and that was the case with a lot of young guys on the team. James Wiseman. If you don't show that you have the basketball IQ to be on the floor, then you will not be on the floor. So it sounds good, and I hope it happens. And I think that maybe Joe and Mike Dunleavy and everybody involved is telling Steve, we're kind of pulling the plug on these guys maybe a little too early. Maybe we need to just let Jonathan Kuminga play and then tell him what he needs to improve on.
Yeah.
And that's already happened in some degree. But, yeah, I do think this will benefit Chris Paul and Jonathan Kuminga, both of them being on the floor together with a second unit. They do need some versatility in the offense when Steph, Clay, and Draymond and Andrew Wiggins aren't on the floor. So,
yeah,
this could be beneficial, but again, I think that Steve Kerr needs to see it from Jonathan Kuminga a little more maturity.
No, I think that, but I also think that the second unit is going to be, I think they're really going to try and take advantage of these younger players this year. I don't think we're going to get minutes like we had with Moses Moody last year, and those minutes are going towards whoever else. We're not going to get those Anthony Lamb minutes, nor the Ty Jerome minutes. I think a lot of it is going to be shorter rotations this year. They're not just going to be going out there using 12 guys out of their lineup. I mean, they may consistently just go 9 or 10 at some point for long stretches here. Like, you're going to have off the bench, you're probably going to have Chris Paul, Moses Moody, who Draymond called one of the most professional players he's been around. He talking about Looney, also talked about Moody. Thought that was interesting. Then Andrew Wiggins plays a lot with that second unit too. And I think you're going to mix him and Jonathan Kuminga at the 3 and 4. I just don't know who's going to play the 5. That's kind of where I'm lost. And I think that's where Sarge can really fit.
Still waited on that one.
Still waiting on that one. But, so I think he's going to unlock it, and I think he's going to unlock Moses Moody too. I think Moses Moody is just going to get better. I think he gained a lot of confidence toward the end of last year, hoping that carries over into next year. Did you watch the podcast? Did you see any of it or hear any of it besides all the clips that were posted?
No, I've not seen or not listened to the podcast. No.
There's a couple of things. One, it should be called Podcast P. The P stands for People Don't Realize, because Paul George says that a lot whenever they're talking about just basketball. Now, people don't realize, man, like when you don't take as many shots, you're not getting as many opportunities. So people are more criticized even though they don't get more opportunities. It's like, no, we realize that.
Does he have a personality where he warrants a podcast?
I don't know.
That's my trepidation of actually listening to it, because I'm like, well, Paul George, I don't really think of a personality.
That's why he's got his friends, though. He's got this one dude who apparently did like voiceover work for Grand Theft Auto, and he got this other guy who I think played like a year in pro ball, but they're all from the same area down in SoCal. But I will. So one of the guys, though, super funny. he just they were bringing up 2016, and they were one from 2016, and he's like, yeah, so I want to talk about that suspension. He's like, I know you've had a lot, but I'm talking about the one. And he's just like, which one were we talking about? There's last year, there's 2 years ago, and then we're talking about the one in 2016. Yeah, there's a lot of suspensions from you. He's just like saying that straight to Draymond, but yeah, he brought that up and mentioned how much he eats at him and all that sort of stuff. Kind of said he would have been the Finals MVP had they won Game 7.
No question.
And all this sort of stuff. I don't know. Draymond can rub people the wrong way, and I totally understand that. But he does say something in the clip that makes a lot of sense. It's like, I think in the end, you could say he's doing too much, but when he tones it down, then he's
doing too fucking much.
But when he tones it down, he's not doing enough, like he did in the Lakers in LeBron series. So there's like this balance that people want from him, when in the end, if they have an issue with him doing what he does, which is speaking on a podcast, being arrogant and cocky for being a 4-time NBA champion, then like, I think you just don't like the guy in the end, like just him personally. It just doesn't seem like people do. Anyone that's hating because it's either he's doing too much when he's not doing enough. Well, we need that old Draymond. We need that fiery Draymond. Where's he at? There's never like this happy medium for him. It's always either he's doing too much or doing too little.
Well, the biggest problem I think that Warriors fans have with him is that he does things that are detrimental to the team.
Right.
That gets him suspended. And that's where we're like, Draymond, we love the fiery nature. We love that you motivate everybody. We love that you're a junkyard dog when it comes to playing defense. But when it comes to doing things that hurt the team, you get blind in the moment of rage. And that's where you need to focus a little bit more. He's, like he never has been suspended from a finals again. But, the Sabonis thing happened this year, and I don't entirely blame him for that. I think he's a victim of circumstance. And that's, he's got the rap sheet, and that's always going to follow him.
Right.
And that's what Joe Dumars was telling him. Like, even though he knows Joe Dumars from growing up in Detroit, you are Draymond Green, and that's never going to change. So do I think that anything's going to change with him getting the new contract and they chose him over Jordan Poole in the end, even though he struck him in the face? No, I think we're still going to get the fiery Draymond, because at this point, you're on chance like 15 right now. At this point, the organization has pretty much told you could do whatever the fuck you want, with some exception. But at this point, like, remember you and I were talking about the podcast Draymond had with Kevin Durant a couple years ago, where he called out Bob Myers and Steve, and said they fucked up in suspending him and doing with the whole when KD and him were fighting. And I thought that, like, wow, that's going to be the end of, like, once his contract up. I thought so many things were accumulating to the point where last season was going to be it. And in the end, Steve Kerr, Joe Lacob, Mike Dunleavy, and I'm pretty sure Bob Myers all met in a room and said, even though Draymond punched Jordan Poole in the face, we still got to have this guy. He's more crucial to our success than Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that in the end, Draymond has proven himself, and hopefully he can rein it back in a little bit. So hopefully there is a happy medium with the 4 years left. He's going to be a Warrior.
I don't think there is, though. I think you're going to get him at 100% Draymond. The only thing that he doesn't do, according to him on Podcast P, is he doesn't said he doesn't disrespect guys as much as he used to. It's like, yeah, well, you did sock a 23-year-old in the face at practice.
Yeah, but he probably means verbally, like in the media and shit.
Oh,
like
he does, but he still Falcon punched Jordan Poole.
Oh, yeah. And that, unfortunately, will follow Jordan Poole for the rest of his career, which is more detrimental to the actual punch, in my opinion.
Yeah. The after effect of it is, it was an interesting podcast though. And, them talking about just like how him and Kevon Looney, non-scorers now, but how they legit grew up as scorers, and they had to change their game completely when they get to the NBA. Then, of course, that's when Paul George chimes in. Yeah, people don't realize how much guys change their games when they get to the NBA. Thanks.
So you're saying that he's a shitty host?
I'm just saying he kind of like he doesn't really like bring much new to it. He kind of like reacts to what the guest is saying and just like repeats what he says and kind of just like and then he'll like close things out whenever they're talking about someone else. Shout out to Looney. Shout out to Moody. Like all this. So, a little bit to work on. He's cool though. He seems really cool. Seems like a nice dude.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that every athlete should have a podcast.
Right.
Like you got to have some personality. You got to have opinions. You got to entertain your listeners. And I think a lot of guys are just like, well, I'm me. So I'm just going to have a podcast and people are going to listen to me because I'm Paul George. What was the name? What's the name it should be called?
Podcast People Don't Realize. That's what the P stands for.
Because he says that often.
Yeah, and there's some things where you don't realize it. He teaches you something about the NBA. You're like, wow, all right, I didn't realize that. But some other
Thanks,
things,
Paul George.
Yeah, people do realize. Like, yeah, we do. We do.
That's how I felt listening to the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce. It should not be called the New Heights podcast. I understand that it's because they grew up in an area in Cleveland called like Cleveland Heights or whatever it's called. The name of that podcast should really be, well, all right, y'all. Because that's what Travis Kelce says like every 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Well, all right, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all right now.
Well, all right now. Like,
all right now.
I'm like, all right, Travis. You don't talk like that. Stop.
The podcast is good for clips. It's
good for clips in large doses. Like they were interviewing who's the guy from the Steelers? Alejandro Villanueva.
Yeah.
Who was in the military and then played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Great interview. Their stuff is actually not very sports heavy. They just kind of dick around and talk about whatever the fuck they want to, which is kind of what we do. But it's, they're good at it. But a lot of it is mixed with Travis Kelce doing a goofy voice for most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll get the magical Travis.
All right. Well, we're gonna do a little plug for Pepperoni.
Yeah. Yeah. He puts on like this corny radio voice. But hey, according to him, hardest job in the world, being a podcaster.
As opposed to being a tight end in the NFL?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Well, apparently he's severely underpaid, as he said, which is accurate, I would say.
Well, what's he paid right now? Is he not paid like $18 million a year?
As far as tight ends, the position itself is what he's talking about. I think he's third. I want to say it's Kittle, Waller, Kelce. Could be wrong though.
Yeah, that would make sense. It would Austin Hooper would be right up there, maybe. I don't know.
Not anymore. Got a 1-year deal with the Raiders.
Oh yeah. That deal's up then. Damn. Wow.
Let me see. I'm gonna look it up right now. Tight ends. Hang on. George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews. Oh, this is old. They have Jonnu Smith on there. Oh, well,
right.
Whatever.
Excellent.
You get the idea.
Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith is not paid as much. Well, I guess he still has the same contract with the Patriots, but he's the backup tight end to Kyle Pitts now. Anyway, tight end you aside. More NBA news. We got a trade today, and it wasn't involving Damian Lillard or James Harden. It was involving Grant Williams. So the Celtics are just tearing down shop to make way for Kristaps Porzingis. Grant Williams gets traded, and he's going to go to the Dallas Mavericks. And what's my guy's name? Bullock? What's his first name?
Reggie.
Reggie Bullock goes to the Nets, right?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at the trade.
Three-way trade. But, yeah, so Grant Williams going to come off the bench for the Dallas Mavericks, which they sorely needed. Speaking of bench players, I forgot to bring this up. Warriors signed my dude Corey Joseph from is it Corey Joseph? No, Corey Joseph was the linebacker for the Raiders.
No, it's Corey Joseph. This is just the second time where you called him my guy and you don't know the name.
That's my disrespectful way of saying like, oh my guy, I don't know your name.
Yeah, you don't know the name. You don't know the name. It's okay to admit it. What's his name? Yeah, Corey Joseph. That's
Corey Joseph, who's also the linebacker for the Raiders. I do say my guy because I do remember watching him at Texas. So he did play the University of Texas. I just forgot that he was still playing basketball, to be completely honest, in the NBA. So he'll be a good bench player coming off, the bench, and he'll be another point guard. I did hear, and I think everybody heard this at this point, they did want Eric Gordon, and Eric Gordon turned them down. I think this is actually the move of the offseason so far. Yes, Bradley Beal's a big deal, and yes, all these other moves are big deals. But the one thing that we've been talking about with the Phoenix Suns that they don't have is bench depth, and they traded away Landry Shamet. Getting Eric Gordon to come off the bench for the Suns, I think, is a big, big deal.
Maybe.
You don't think so?
I don't know if he's the same player anymore. We talked about it. Him coming to the Warriors. Like, I don't know. What's he? He's a Warriors killer. I do know that. Seems like there's always that moment whenever Eric Gordon's on a team facing
the playoffs,
Warriors.
he was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's like there's always that one time when the team needs a three, and it's like, I don't know, Lonnie Walker, for example, this year. It's like all of a sudden he'll just pop off in the fourth quarter and make like 3 straight threes when he hadn't made any of the rest of the before the game. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know about that move, man. It's just Eric Gordon going to the bench.
I don't know, dude.
It provides some depth, but I don't know.
That's all they needed, though. And I think that they do have good depth pieces. Like, who's my guy?
Oh, jeez. Again.
Damian Lee, bench player for the Suns, obviously was with the Warriors. They have pieces. They have guys that can play off the bench, and I think that getting a veteran like Aaron Gordon is going to help them. So I do think that was a pretty big move.
All right,
could help the Warriors too. While we're waiting for Saric to sign with the Warriors, which seemed like a definite thing from Mark Stein and Monty Poole, and now we're not hearing as much in almost a week from when free agency started. So hopefully something happens here. But what we've been waiting for next as part of NBA free agency is Damian Lillard to get traded, since he made it be known to the NBA world on Saturday. And it's pretty adamant from Mark Spears to everyone else that knows Damian Lillard pretty well, is that he only wants to go to one team and one team only, and that is the Miami Heat. And
I'm going to go to one team and one team only.
Yep. And the only thing that the Miami Heat can really offer are a shit ton of draft picks and Tyler Hero and who's my guy? Duncan. What's his first name?
You know what? Duncan
Robinson.
Duncan Robinson might not even be included in the trade. It's interesting.
Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry's been involved in it, and there's been a whole back and forth between Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer and all these fans of Miami with him.
I saw that today. I saw that the Le Batard show was making fun of Kevin O'Connor.
Yeah, well, just because the tweet length was ridiculous. He added the paragraph, then a picture of the tweet he was referencing. He legit put like an article in his tweet. Like, and they made a joke. They said like the rate limit exceeded because of guys like Kevin O'Connor, which is fact.
Yeah, everyone's going to Thread now, whatever this new thing is.
But I don't know where Dame's going anymore. I don't even know if the Heat are going to be like the interesting thing that he mentioned is that he doesn't have a no trade clause in his contract. So it's not like he can be, like Russell Wilson or, I mean, didn't Derek Carr have a no trade in his contract?
That's why they couldn't. That's why they released him.
Yeah, it's not like he has a choice. Like they could just trade him and he'll go where he's traded.
Not necessarily, because in today's age of sports, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to play for that team. Did you know, Stephen? Not many people know this actually. The Raiders traded for Jimmy Graham and Adrian Peterson at one point, and both players told their agents, I'm not going there. So that was I think it was 2015 or around that time, and deals were in place. And both times those players said, I'm not going. You're wasting your time. I'm not going to show up. And then the deals got nixed. Happened a few years ago. Antonio Brown was traded to the Buffalo Bills. Ian Rappaport was the only one with that story. And then he told the Buffalo Bills, you can fuck off. I'm not going to Buffalo. And then he got traded to the Raiders the next day.
Yeah, but those guys aren't getting paid what Damian Lillard's getting paid. So, I mean, you really want to let me just double check that ridiculous contract that he has. All these contracts are ridiculous. No one should make this amount of money in a year for anything. But he'll be making $45 million next year. So he's just not going to make any money because, like, at that time, AP and Jimmy Graham, maybe the Raiders dodged a bullet at that time. Antonio Brown. It's Antonio Brown. Dude can't even keep an arena league team. So
at the time, though, it was a big deal.
So he could just say he's not going, but there's some different circumstances here, especially with him requesting a trade and then just, oh, well, not to this team. I'm not going then. Well, what are you going to do? They're probably going to keep him then.
It was interesting to hear Paul George say, I think on his podcast, he was talking about this, and he was saying, I could be wrong here, Stephen, if he did mention it on this episode, but to go from, I don't ring chase, I look down upon teams that do the whole super team, to now I'm only playing for one team and one team only. I want to go to the Eastern Conference champions.
Right. Yeah.
And listen, hey, Damian Lillard has earned that respect, honestly, for playing on this team for 11 seasons. And I don't think it's because he wants to ring chase or he wants to win a championship or have a super team with Jimmy Butler and Bam. I think it's legitimately because I like the style of basketball they play. I like that they are just straight dogs, and I want to play with those guys because I like the Miami Heat mentality. There's a certain reason why he doesn't want to go to Boston. I don't know why. But if you ask Chris Haynes, he basically laughs at the idea and says he's never going to Boston. Philadelphia makes a lot of sense to me, but you're going to buy in with Nick Nurse as the new head coach. It sounds like a good situation. I just don't. I'm kind of getting tired of seeing Bobby Marks get sent to that trade machine that he has. Like every Sports Center now is the same goddamn thing of Bobby Marks going to that board and be like, well, here's a few trades that we could do for Damian Lillard, but in the end, it doesn't make sense. And the other annoying thing, which I've said before, is Jeremy Fowler coming on and being like, well, DeAndre Hopkins loves the Patriots and he loves the Titans. So there's no new information. I see that now. Regardless, it may be hard for Damian Lillard to get traded to the Heat at this point. And it sounds like the better option could be the Sixers if the Sixers are willing to move Tyrese Maxey. So I hear you, where they don't owe him anything. I mean, they do in the sense that he was loyal to them for 11 seasons, but they don't have to grant him the trade that he wants. They could send him wherever they want him to, whatever place gives him the best opportunity. And I don't think it would be the end of the world if he did go to Philadelphia, because I do think that's a very good spot for him.
I don't think they should trade Maxey. Dame's great coming off.
You're gonna have to get him.
Yeah, but I don't think they should. Dame's great coming off career highs, all that sort of stuff. But God, Maxey's got so much upside right now. This dude's fantastic, and he seems to have, much like Dame, he seems to have his head on straight, which Dame does. It's not like a lot of these other guys. He's firm in what he believes, and he's, very well spoken and all that, but Maxey's the same way. I don't know. I think Maxey should stay. I think they should keep him. I don't think the Sixers should do that at all.
They probably won't, but we'll see what happens here. But I
know that sounds bizarre, because like Dame can average
no, but
30 points a game for every year, but man, Maxey's just so explosive and can do so much for an offense if he stays healthy.
Now, watching the 2021 playoffs and Tyrese Maxey coming into his own, I was thoroughly impressed with him. So yeah. I would not do that deal either. But they do offer the best trade value for Damian Lillard, because they were talking about this today on ESPN. You look at the trade value that the Suns or the Brooklyn Nets got for Kevin Durant. You look what even Utah got for Rudy Gobert. Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson or Kyle Lowry or another player and a bunch of picks to the Miami Heat doesn't seem like enough for me. And that's what Bobby Marks says every time where he does his thing, and he's like, this isn't enough. If I was a GM, I would say no. Which, this is why this may take some time. This may be the DeAndre Hopkins move we're waiting for in the NBA. But they'll bring it up every day, and they asked Brian Windhorst about it today, or yesterday, actually. And it's not so much what Brian Windhorst says here. Just listen to how he pronounces Woj's name. Is this intentional? Is this him just messing up on the air? I would be guilty of this, but I think there's an ulterior motive here that I want to discuss after we play this clip.
Or, as Tim said, actions speak a lot louder, and we're just going to try to get the best package we can, no matter who that team is.
Well, the Blazers GM Joe Cronin released a statement to Adrian Wojnarowski over the weekend saying that.
So that's, I mean, like everyone in NBA circles knows Woj's last name. It's Adrian Wojnarowski.
Yeah.
And for Brian Windhorst to fumble that on ESPN either is just a slip up that happens from time to time, or him and Woj aren't cool. And Windhorst was the guy on ESPN prior to Woj coming over, and he doesn't want to be brushed to the side for Woj dropping Woj bombs on ESPN.
Well, the Blazers GM Joe Cronin released a statement to Adrian Wojnarowski.
Well, as it was revealed by Amin Al-Hassan when he left ESPN, and I think Ethan Sherwood Strauss wrote about it. But Woj has like a stranglehold on the NBA game there, and he would like actually stops news from getting to others so he can break it first. Like he's pretty conniving.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's a conniving individual. I
brought this up kind of comically. I did not know this was actual thing.
Oh, that's a thing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the NBA reporters, it's a little clash of the I don't know if you call them titans.
The insiders.
Yeah, it's a clash of the insiders, I guess. But yeah, they don't. At least that's what Amin Al-Hassan said.
So do you think this was intentional?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm onto something then. I initially watched it last night and I was like, he fucked that up really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like if I don't know, you and I ever have a falling out, I'm not referring to you as Derek Papa. You'll be Derek Papa.
You would be like every high school coach I had.
Is that what they call it?
Especially in Texas. Hey, Papa.
Well, Papa is fine. Like I'd call you Papa. Just straight Papa.
Papa?
Yeah, like Papa.
Yeah, getting that paper.
If you ever become wealthy, that's what you're going to be called. You're going to turn from Derek Papa to Derek Papa.
God, I'm waiting for that day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Steven. That's about enough, or all the sports that I have. Unless you want to bring anything else up. Well, we talk about the Giants real quick.
I mean, what's there to
Giants
talk
are
about?
leading 2-0 right now, but they've lost 7 out of the last 9.
Yeah, and they're also
Injured.
The only reason those runs are on the board is because of some pretty bad defense from the Mariners. So, yeah.
During that 10-game winning streak, did you ever think that they were a playoff team?
No, I still do. And I think they can compete because that bullpen is for real. And their lineup is the thing that's really struggling right now that I think can turn around. I know every team goes through a travel schedule, and you're seeing the Reds. They're still red hot right now. But Casey Schmidt falling off, Luis Matos, great player, but it's not like he's putting up staggering numbers where they're going to blow you out the water. So the infusion of young guys has been great, but I think if they want to get over the top, get through the wild card, like you're going to have to make some sort of move at the trade deadline. And I don't know whether I don't even think that's within the lineup. It's within starting pitching. They don't have any starting pitching right now.
So who do you want? Marcus Stroman or Rodriguez from the Tigers?
Shane Bieber's one. Stroman's another. I think Stroman's just a lot of fun to watch.
Stroman's going to cost you a lot.
Yeah, but so's Shane Bieber. So it is going to cost you, but I think they need someone to add to that rotation because they just don't have anything outside of Webb and then Cobb, and Cobb's in his late 30s. I don't know what he's going to look like by the time September rolls around. They're going to need something, and I think starting pitching is where they start and then go from there.
Susan Slusser brought up outfield maybe as a trade possibility.
Yeah.
And she brought up 2 names that she said, I don't want to be biased here, but she brought up 2 former A's. She brought up Mark Canha, and she brought up, well, actually, this was Copes, but I was upset about this, but it will come to an end eventually. Ramon Laureano as a name that the Giants could look at.
Yeah.
Do you like both those guys?
Yeah, I'd rather have Canha because Canha's been able to stay on the field a little bit longer, and I've seen Canha live when he was with the A's, hit a 470-foot home run to left field. And I've seen him kill it at Oracle Park whenever he's there. So I'd be interested in both of them, but I'm still set on wanting them to get a starting pitcher. And I think Austin Slater can be a trade piece there. A lot of teams can look for a right-handed pinch hitter, one of the best in the game. I think he could actually net you a pretty solid player if you include him in some sort of package.
Interesting. All right. And then to go with the baseball talk.
Hmm.
Ellie De La Cruz. That was
Sick,
quite-
right?
yeah. That was pretty cool. They checked his back for corking, and then he hits a home run immediately, and then looks at the umpire like, "Do you want to check it again?" It's pretty badass.
Yeah. Yeah. Sick. He just points at the knob of his bat and throws it away. Like, what are you going to do? Tell me to check it again? I dare you.
I dare you.
It's so sick.
And then finally, Ohtani is just having an incredible season. What does he have? 31 home runs already?
Yeah.
So he's on pace to match or break Aaron Judge's AL record from a year ago.
Yep.
But then Mike Trout's got an injury right now. Then yesterday, Juan Soto's talking shit, saying we're going to shuffle Shohei Ohtani's ass, and they beat him. Even though Juan Soto struck out 3 times against Ohtani, or 2 times, went 0 for 3 against him.
Yep.
But then Ohtani got a blister on his finger.
Yep.
So they'll shut him down. You won't see him again until after the All-Star break. I have a hard time believing the Angels are going to trade him at the deadline just because he's having a fantastic season and the Angels are in contention. But maybe they do. And then that would cause a huge uproar from Angels fans because that's the only reason they go to the games right now. Maybe you want to get value for him right now. But also, how could you not just try to compete with him at this moment? That's a conversation we'll have more as the trade deadline comes around, but I have a hard time believing he's going to leave the Angels at this point in time.
Well, that's what the Mets is going to show you, right? Or the Mets. That's what this next month is going to show you because they're only 3 games over 500. It's easy to fall out of playoff contention when you don't have who we forget to be the best outfielder of this generation in Mike Trout. So I think it's pretty likely they do, actually. I think the amount that they could get for him, the fact that they're only 3 games over 500 right now, and he's having the greatest season of all time. Like, I think one of the greatest seasons of all time, leading the league in strikeouts and then leading the American League in homers, possibly going to break the record. Yeah, that you could put that on pace to be one of the greatest seasons ever. You can. There's been nothing like him. There's no precedent for it. So you can look back at history and look back at all the great seasons, but you can go to the hitters and say, well, I mean, you can look at Barry Bonds. Well, what was he doing what was he doing pitching? Anything? No, because he wasn't pitching. He was just hitting. Shohei Ohtani, pitching.
So how could you ever, and this is something we could talk about more, we don't have to answer this question necessarily right now, but what is appropriate trade compensation for him?
I don't know.
Exactly. Like that it seems impossible.
You're
getting 2 players in one.
Your whole farm system, a couple of major league ready players. Like, for example, if the Giants were to trade for him, which Ken Rosenthal said with Tim Kawakami that Ohtani should at least entertain if he likes the Bay Area because he wants to stay on the West Coast. I mean, what that's going to take for him? Kyle Harrison, Luciano, probably 2 of the 3 younger guys you have up right now.
Oh, yeah. Patrick Bailey's going.
Vaughn Brown, bye-bye. And then maybe, I don't know, like one of their cheaper players that they have right now.
Casey Schmidt's probably included in that.
Maybe. Yeah, it'd have to be.
Did you say,
a lot.
Did you already say Matos?
Yeah, well, a combination of 2 of the 3. If anything, I don't think they're letting go of Patrick Bailey if they can figure out a way to get around that. But like if Bailey's like the be-all.
Sable, I mean.
Sable's fine, but Patrick Bailey's like got the look of the Giants starting catcher for the next 10 years or so.
Of course, but if you're trying to get Shohei Ohtani, which I don't think the Giants will do, but
right.
I could see that. I mean, every year this will be the Aaron Judge, the Bryce Harper, the Giancarlo Stanton. This offseason, if Shohei Ohtani is not traded, his name will be in the mix with the Giants.
Yep.
And in the end, he will not sign with the Giants.
Yeah.
That's what I see happening.
Yeah, I could see that too.
All right, enough Giants talk. I do that for my day job. Went to go see. Let's do a little pop culture for the last portion of this this podcast, Stephen. Went to go see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny this past weekend with my little brother, and it's as bad as you think it is.
Yeah.
From the opening scene of the movie where we see a de-aged Harrison Ford, clearly with an 80-year-old voice. It's just bad. It's not even Indiana Jones like it doesn't feel like Indiana Jones. It just feels like crotchety old Harrison Ford with his new friend, some girl that we never knew from the old movies. And then there's old friends that pop up like Salah. It would have been so God with the timing of this movie. They really fucked up. They should have got who's my guy that just won the Oscar?
Kui Hui Kwan.
There you go. Short Round from Temple
Short
of Doom.
round. Short round. A lot easier than
If he made a cameo appearance in this movie, you could have won me over a little bit with that. But this for Indiana Jones' last adventure, it sucked.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was worse or better than the Island of the Crystal Skull or whatever, just because that movie was so bad. But at least it felt like an Indiana Jones movie. This did not feel at 1 second, besides the music playing and him wearing the hat, did not feel like an Indiana Jones movie.
With your with your guy Harrison Ford.
Well, come on, we all know who Harrison Ford is.
Oh, with your guy.
That's
Yeah,
my
your
guy.
Yeah.
I do love Harrison Ford. He's an old crotchety bastard. You've seen the David Blaine clip, right?
Oh yeah.
Get
Yeah.
the fuck out of my house.
Yeah. Get out of my house. You touch my orange. Get out of my house. I'd say the same thing.
No, it was I don't know. Just movies need to be more creative, and I'm tired of the same old. Let's resurrect some old franchise and make a new installment with the old actors, and it just is not the same. It's terrible.
That's all it is now. It's sequels. We know this, but
Yeah.
that's all we're going to get. I don't know what is Asteroid City not good enough for you.
I told you that's not a movie I'm going to see in theaters.
Right.
By the
Maybe
way,
we will.
walked out of the theater at the Grand Lake Theater, great theater. You know who I ran into?
Who?
Matt Steinmetz.
Oh, what was he doing?
Was seeing Indiana Jones with I believe his daughter. Left his phone in the theater.
Really? Yeah. You want to know something he did today? I went down to 95.7 just to say hello, and Steiny came around and he goes, "Hey, what's your fiance's name?" I was like, "It's Jessie." He's like, "Right. So why does she call it Jessie on her social media? She puts an AY at the end of her thing, Jessie." And he's like, "So is she named Jessie or Jessie?" I was like, "It's Jessie, but she has Jessie in her username." I'm like, "That's what she calls herself." And I'm like, "It's Jessie." And then he's like, "All right." And he walks away. Great story on Steinmetz.
Why is Steiny being a creep?
I don't know. It's just Steiny being Steiny, I guess. I don't know.
What social media or is Jessie have her name spelled like that?
Both on Twitter and Instagram.
On Twitter too? I haven't even noticed that.
Yeah.
See, Steiny's paying too close attention to shit like that.
Right? Yeah. He also needs to add like filler words in his Twitter account.
Jesse at the bottom here doesn't even follow me. That just shows you how weird it is.
Yeah. But yeah, if he talked like he did in his tweets, he wouldn't say anything like in between the words that he's saying. He wouldn't like give any transition. He always like tries to condense it as much as he possibly can for some reason. I don't know what it is, but like anytime he could put like a simple the or and or anything like that, he doesn't do it.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And also, Ernie, too, to answer your question, when I saw Steiny, did I mention Chubby Cox? You're damn right I did. And every time he just gives me a look like, would you shut up? Going back to Indiana Jones real quick, that, I crossed that movie off as something I was kind of interested in seeing this summer, but everyone could skip it. So keeping the theme of Matt Steinmetz and the rating system for movies on this podcast, I give it not even 2. I give it 1 Steiny, just because it's Indiana Jones. So it sucked.
As you should. Just 1, that's it.
But are there any movies that are coming out this summer, Steven, that you are interested, that tickle your fancy?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it already. Oppenheimer and Barbie, bro.
So you want to see both?
Yeah, might do a double feature.
I know a lot of people are going to do that. They're going to I guess the trend is going to be people are going to go see Oppenheimer and drink a little glass of scotch and then wear some pink for Barbie.
Yeah. Yeah. Might do that. Why scotch for Oppenheimer though?
Because that's like the era of that movie.
Oh, okay. Wasn't
It's
it
a
like,
it's a smoke cigarettes, drink whiskey type of flick.
I'm going to show that I'm not exactly a history buff. Was that around? Was the whole H-bomb thing like around the time of Prohibition?
Whatever time, well, I
No, it
don't,
was not.
whatever
No, it was
time
not.
Albert Einstein was still alive, he makes a
Much.
cameo in the movie.
It was much later than that.
Okay,
Is that even what Oppenheimer created? Yes, it was. All right, cool. It was in the 40s and 50s. All
Yeah.
right, shout out to Oppenheimer.
Well, it's like Mad Men or earlier than Mad Men, but kind of Mad Men era.
Yeah, it'll probably be a little more with the times though. Mad Men, well, I mean, the Mad Men showed what it was like in the workplace back in the 50s and how they treated women. Maybe Oppenheimer will show that realness too. Christopher Nolan, no CGI. Wonder how he did that.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be a 3-hour-long flick, and it's gonna do a lot of detail, and I think that yeah, like the movies that I have listed are. I do want to see Mission Impossible Part 1. I can't wait for that. Are you a Mission Impossible guy?
Of course I am.
Okay, thank God. So you hate Fast and Furious, but you like Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible is actually good.
It's smarter. It's a smarter action film.
Yes. That's why I like it,
And-
because I'm a smarter individual than all of you clowns who love Fast and Furious.
Oh, you clowns. Which one's your favorite?
Oh. Not a popular pick, but Ghost Protocol. I think that
See,
one's got perfect
I-
comic relief.
Well, obviously Simon Pegg, but
Yeah.
which one? Is that the one where he's climbing up with the suction cups?
Yes.
Okay. I think Fallout, the last one, is just a good movie all the way around.
It's really good. It's
I
really
from
good.
from start to finish, like not even like part of the series. They just stand alone, just a good movie. Not even like
Yeah.
an action movie. It's well acted. It's just very good.
Yeah.
But I
It's
do have a
kinda
soft
like-
spot. Oh, go
It's
ahead.
kind of like the opposite of Star Wars, like, well, I guess really if you're looking at the real order of Star Wars, 4, 5, and 6 is when it's actually good, if you're looking at that. So I guess Mission Impossible is like Star Wars. First 3, meh. The next 3, 4, 5, and 6, much better.
Yeah. I do have a soft spot for the third one. Even though a lot of people don't like it, I thought that was one of the more entertaining ones just because it's dealing with his wife, and I love the villain performance by Philip Seymour Hoffman in it.
Yeah, that's really good. I do like the third one.
So I'm hoping this one does well, or is a good movie. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking to Oppenheimer. I will go check out that. I guess I do have some interest in the Barbie movie, but I feel weird if I went to go see that by myself and I was just like a weird creep, like Matt Steinmetz, just sitting in the theater by myself watching Barbie. So I might wait for that to come out on Max. I do kind of want to see the Ninja Turtles Seth Rogen movie that's coming out.
Really?
I do love I do love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I hated the Michael Bay Transformer stupid one they did. If this is like a actual good telling of the actual Ninja Turtle story, and they're doing more villains in this, I guess not just Shredder, I'll check it out.
You gonna go to this one on your own too? Then, like, what
Probably not. See, that's the thing is like I want to check out Spider-Verse. I want to check out Ninja Turtles, Barbie, but these are movies I'm not gonna go see by myself. So if my little brother or anybody else is like, yeah, I'll check it out with you, I'll go see it. But I'm not gonna be the creep at 32 years old just watching these movies by myself.
Yeah. Okay. You shouldn't. Ninja Turtles not great. I went to go see the Lion King real live one by myself. That was weird.
Yeah, you tweeted that out in confidence.
Yeah, I did. It's pretty weird, but I'm proud of it.
I bet you are. I bet you
Yeah.
are. I did catch the yeah. Let's all go, Ernie's. If you come out to Oakland, we'll all go see it together.
Yeah.
I did watch the second part of the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary, Arnold. And the first episode is all about him wanting to be huge, and this one was all about his acting career, which I didn't realize I kind of slept on. Like I know the movies. I'm a big fan of Terminator and Terminator 2. I love Jingle All the Way. But a lot of other movies I really haven't seen. Like they talked about Predator. I've seen a little bit of Twins. It's okay.
Twins is amazing. Shut up.
It's been a while, so I definitely need to check it out all the way through.
Mhm.
Total Recall I like, but I never saw Predator. Never saw Predator, and I realized that it was on HBO. So I watched it for the first time the other night. Yeah, I know. I know I'm totally guilty of being that guy. Like, you never seen that movie? But there's so much shit that I haven't seen.
Well,
so
that's
watch.
fine if you've seen the movie. So did you send me that GIF from Predator after you saw the movie?
Yeah, because I never realized that was
Okay.
it's from that where Arnold Schwarzenegger comes up to Carl Weathers and does,
Yeah.
"You son of a bitch."
Okay, good.
And they're
Yeah.
and they do the handshake with flexing their guns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you
where
realize-
the audio doesn't match anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you realize the only reason Carl Weathers is in that movie is because Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sly Stone is in the documentary. Sylvester Stallone is actually going to have his own documentary on Netflix just because Arnold Schwarzenegger had his own. The rivalry is so ridiculous in the 80s and 90s that they, even though that the two men are good friends and they own Planet Hollywood together along with Bruce Willis,
Right.
or if I don't know if Planet Hollywood's still around, actually, probably not. They had such a big rivalry that all their movies, they would check in the previous one. Okay, did Sly, how many men did they kill? How big were their guns? how big were the knives that they threw? The only reason that Carl Weathers is in Predator is because he wanted to steal him away from the Rocky franchise.
Wow. I did not know that. I like the
Yeah.
movie even more. I think Rocky's overrated.
Oh, Rocky's great, but Predator, I liked it its own self. It's like a mixing of at the time in the 80s, I get it. What was big at the time were war movies and sci-fi flicks, and they mixed the two together.
Yeah.
It's basically Platoon with aliens.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's the guy's name? Who's my guy? With the with the razor, and he's shaving his face.
Mac.
Yeah.
He screams for his name like 15 times in that movie. Mac.
And then there's another guy who's like, I ain't got time to bleed.
That's
my favorite line.
Jesse Ventura,
Oh,
former
yeah.
governor of Minnesota.
Right, yeah, Jesse Ventura. And there's another, who's my guy? The other one. He's kind of, I think he's actually passed away now. Gosh, I can't remember his name. He's he's the crazy military guy.
In Predator?
Yeah. I mean, they're all crazy military guys.
There was only like 5 people in that movie.
Sonny Landham. I think that was his name. Yeah, Sonny Landham was the guy.
Who was he?
He was the one with the long hair.
Oh,
And-
he was weird. And there and there was the nerdy guy with the glasses that was trying to tell the dirty joke the whole time. And I was like, all right, this is getting old.
Yeah. No, I got to
Yeah.
watch that Arnold doc though.
No, it's good. He did bring up Pumping Iron, where he did mention I forget the word he used, but he did say that a lot of what he said in the past was bullshit. So the whole Pumping Iron quote of "I think a good pump is better than coming," he was like that was bullshit. Most of the things I said in my past life were bullshit. Which brings me to this clip. The image we get of Arnold Schwarzenegger is either him with his big guns or him smoking a cigar. And I remember this interview, but I totally forgot about it. They play this in the documentary, and it just makes me laugh how ridiculous this whole interview is. So he's doing something for actors that love to smoke cigars, and this is what he says.
Rick, the way I got into smoking stogies is very simple. I went home with Maria in 1977 when I met her at the tennis tournament. I went home with her to meet her parents in Hyannisport. And there, her father, after dinner, pulled out a cigar, lit it up. Then he gave one to his son, then to the other son, and to some other people. And he said to me, "Do you want a cigar?" And I said, "I don't know how to smoke a cigar." He says, "Well, try it. Because after dinner, everyone ought to have a cigar." So I tried it. Well, the rest is history. I'm still smoking stogies. I love it. And he introduced me to something really good. And I know now the next question. Knowing you, being the interviewer that you are, digging in deep all the time, you will say now, what does your wife think about that? Let me ask you something. When my wife's father has introduced me to stogies, what is she going to say? She's not going to say my father made a mistake, because her father never makes a mistake. So therefore, it is okay. I can smoke stogies around her. I can smoke stogies in my house. First of all, because her father introduced me to stogies. And second of all, because I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone. I smoke my stogie anywhere I want. I don't have to find a hideout place like you.
Wow. Good Lord.
I just like how he says, "I'm a stud. I don't take any shit from no one."
Knowing you, you're going to ask me a deep cut question. You're going to cut right in there. And you're going to ask what my wife thinks. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Cut to Arnold having the affair with the maid, and then
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
And on that note,
yeah. But it did make me think about I don't know if you know this about me, Steven, but back in the day in college when I lived in Austin, Texas, I used to smoke a lot of stogies. So I may pick that up again
why?
because I liked it.
Really?
But it is a gross habit.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
It was cool. But I don't know. Next time you see me do this podcast, I may have a stogie.
I dare you to smoke a stogie inside your apartment.
Not
dare-
here.
I
Not
dare
here.
you.
No, not here.
Oh,
You know why?
okay.
Because I'm ballsy.
Because you're ballsy. What would your wife think? She wouldn't
But yeah,
care.
I realize I haven't seen a lot of his movies. I actually have never seen. You ever seen True Lies?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, with Jamie Lee Curtis. It's a good one.
I need to catch up on my Arnold movies.
Yeah, man. You should. He's a great actor.
Yay!
Not really.
He's actually incredibly funny.
Mm.
Like
You ever
that's
seen
that.
Hercules- You ever seen Hercules in New York?
No, I know they dubbed his voiceover though because they didn't like his accent.
It's maybe the worst movie that's ever been created outside of The Room.
Oh, you never seen Birdemic?
Birdemic?
Birdemic.
Birdemic. No, I haven't.
Two of the worst movies of all time have been filmed in the Bay Area. The Room, which was filmed in San Francisco, or maybe it wasn't filmed in San Francisco, just the location San Francisco. And Birdemic was shot in San Jose. It is awful,
Wow.
but I highly recommend it because it's a good time.
Oh, I've never heard of that. I'm definitely going to watch that one.
Haven't seen the last Action Hero either, but I hear that's kind of like a parody movie of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It is.
Yeah,
It is. It's all about a kid being obsessed with his hero. Yeah.
I need to bone up on my Arnold. All right, you got anything else, Steve?
What a way to end it.
Yeah, that's how let's all go out here.
What a way to end it. I got nothing else, man, except there's too much Sphere content in my feed. All this Las Vegas Sphere stuff, just totally reflective of Las Vegas. Have you not seen the Sphere?
I have not.
Oh, Sphere's all over the feed, dude. You'll see the Sphere. You'll know what I'm talking about with the Vegas Sphere when you see it.
Should I fear the Sphere?
Fear the Sphere. It's awful. So much Sphere content. This is the most Sphere content that's been in my feed since Kyrie Irving said the earth was flat.
Okay, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, but I will find out.
Check out the Sphere. It's like the tip of the Salesforce building. You know how it like has the tip of the Salesforce building? It has like the little projections on the top. Have you not seen that either?
No.
You haven't seen that either? They do.
No, you're bringing up shit that I have no idea. idea what the hell you're talking about.
God, get with it, Derek. Jesus.
Get
All
with
right.
it. I'm too busy watching 20-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger videos on stogies.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of sphere content, just wait till you see the sphere. Fear the sphere.
All right, I will check it out. But
right.
the next time you see me, I'll be in Florida
Oh,
visiting my mother. So we got time to do a show next week, and hopefully we get some news with Damian Lillard or God, I'm hoping something on DeAndre Hopkins or Dalvin Cook. But
why?
I'll bring because I just want it to be over.
Oh, okay.
And we'll get to a certain point where I think next week or the 2 weeks is the deadline for franchise tags. So then we'll figure out what Josh Jacobs is going to make, and we'll figure out what Saquon Barkley's going to make, and then we'll have a general idea of what Dalvin Cook will make. But I
might lose some sleep over that one. Running
damn
back
right you will.
contract.
No, you're damn right you will. It's going to change the course of history.
Oh man.
But I will be in Florida, and that's why you may see me with a stogie in my mouth.
All right.
And on that note, Steven,
Steven,
say what you always say.
it's just our opinion, man. That wasn't good. I could have done better.